first interview on KTN. And Pavel, interesting times for Kenyans, even as they anticipate the cost of fuel prices tomorrow for the month of August. What should they expect?
Well, legally we're supposed to release the prices every 14th of every month. And we take into account various factors, which includes the landed cost of the products, which is impacted on by the price of crude oil internationally. And of course, we are releasing this tomorrow, but we're still working on the numbers, so I cannot give you a figure. I'm not clear whether it's going to go up or going to go down.
All right.
So we'll cross that bridge when tomorrow comes, when we do the release tomorrow.
So from your preliminary assessment, looking at various media reports, there was an article that indicated that a litre of super petrol is likely to go up to actually 130 shillings. And how true is this? Because look at some of the levies that have been proposed and some of the taxes by the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, there's a likelihood that the fuel prices will actually hit 130 shillings.
Well, there's been media reports to that effect, that the inclusion of VAT, the levying of VAT into the cost of petroleum products is going to kick in from 1st of September. However, I want to quickly add that until we are advised by the National Treasury has the mandate to levy any taxes. Of course, KRA will collect the taxes. We're still waiting for clarification from the National Treasury. And once that is done, of course, as a regulator, we will be guided by the government position.
All right.
Taxes.
And Pavel, many Kenyans are simply asking, if you look at other countries globally, we are seeing the cost of fuel is going down. What is the irony with Kenya?
Actually, the cost of fuel in Kenya is in tandem, is the same as the one in Tanzania, the one in Uganda. And of course, when we compare similar period, as mentioned by one of the presenters, that when we had crude oil retailing at $70 per barrel, the costs were about 90 shillings. And I will agree with, of course, the government, the expanded devolved government has created a lot of requirement for money. So again, there is the roads that are being done. We have what we call the road maintenance RML, that previously was 9 shillings per litre. Currently is at 18 shillings. So if you were to really take off the RML itself, you can see the current about 110, 112 would come to around 90. So really it's about us Kenyans, are we supporting our economy? Again, you know, we have to pay taxes as Kenyans.
But taxes are good to be paid, sir. But for many Kenyans, the simple question is, at the end of the day, the fuel prices are not reflective of what's happening in other jurisdictions.
I want to say that we compare the prices of products in Tanzania. When we were about 106, Tanzania was about 104 for petrol.
But in Uganda,
when we compare with Uganda,
the price is in the 90s.
I don't think so. The current figures, we are actually comparable.
Okay.
Again, I just want to quickly say that if you go to the United Kingdom, go to Germany, go even to the US, we are much cheaper than those countries. Those countries, the price is much higher. Like when I last checked 3 months ago, Germany was retailing about 187 per litre, while we were doing around 104 per litre. You can see the disparity. So generally, despite the government collecting taxes, of course, from petroleum products, our prices are regionally comparable. Yes.
And Pavel, talk to us about what constitutes the end price of fuel at the end of the day, because one would argue that when you look at what Kenyans are currently paying, they feel the burden is getting heavier, even as the new proposed taxes are still in the pipeline.
Yeah. I'll give you constitutes what we announce as petroleum prices. First of all, there's the initial cost, which is the landed cost of petroleum product. We all buy from the international market. We do not refine petroleum products in Kenya. So when we buy like everybody else. Depending on the quantities you buy, the economies of scale, you can get it cheaper. But generally, we pay the same price. After that, we come to shipping, the cost of transport and distribution. We add that cost. We also add in the cost of their taxes. I mentioned the road maintenance levy. and other levies that are added to it. So we add the cost of levies and taxes. We also add in the cost of dealer's margin. There is also a dealer's margin that is prepared, because generally if you're doing business, there's normally a margin. And I want to say that this is a regulated margin. The oil marketing companies do not decide what margin they want to make. It's actually regulated and controlled. So they're not at liberty to charge whatever they wish. So when you consider all those factors, then we have what we call the final pump price.
Okay.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, which constitutes the biggest chunk of your cost of fuel at the end of the day?
Yeah, I'll give you a breakdown on what the current levels are as of last month, so that you can have a feel on what you're talking about. If I look at...
So as you look for that,